do a video on the models and inequalities, and I'm going to try to go quick because I have a lot to do here. So, the first one says I had $1,000 to spend on my car. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the $1,000. Now, that represents the amount of money I can spend on my car. It's going to be less than or equal to that. Now, there's a... Oh, this is a little bit different from the one I did in class. Oh, I see. Well, that's fine. So, I had to get an oil change, and that's $80. And then I had to buy 4 tires. So, I know I had to buy 4 tires, but I don't know how much the tires cost. So, T is going to be the cost of each tire. So since I had to buy 4 of them, it's going to be 4T. So it's going to be the cost of the tires plus the oil change has to be less than or equal to 1,000. Now when I do this, I'm going to subtract out $80 for my oil change. Oh no. My pen does this funny thing where it stops working for a second. Let's see. So it's going to be the 4 tires. Oh, there we go. Plus the oil change. It's going to be less than or equal to 1,000. So I'm going to subtract 80 from both sides. Like I said, this is going to be slightly different from yours because I think in yours we did $75. Yeah, so it was $75 for the oil change. Apparently the price has gone up. So it's going to be 920. I'm going to divide both sides by 4. So the cost of each tire can be at most $230. So over here, if I do 230, 240, 250, 220, and 210, this is T. It's going to be a closed circle because I could spend $230 on each tire or less. And that's it. The cost of a movie ticket is $12. Snacks are $2.25 each, and I had $21. So I'm going to buy a ticket plus some snacks maybe, and that would be my total. So let's see. So how much money do I have altogether? I have I have $21 to spend. So I can spend less than or equal to 21. Now, the ticket is $12 and the snacks are $2.25 each. So I'm going to say S equals snacks because I don't know how many snacks I'm going to buy. But I do know that each one is $2.25. So it's going to be $2.25, $2.25 S. And the reason why is because that's what we don't know. We don't know how much we're spending on snacks because we don't know how many snacks we're buying. So it's going to be 225 S plus 12 is less than or equal to 21. I'm going to get rid of my movie ticket first and figure out how much money do I have left just for snacks. So it looks like after I buy my movie ticket, I'm going to have $9 remaining. Well, if each snack is $2.25, I'm going to divide by $2.25, and I'm going to get S, the number of snacks, has to be less than or equal to 4. So I'm not going to be super nitpicky about this right now, but because it is good form, we should just put circles on all of the whole numbers because I could buy 0 snacks, 1 snack, 2 snacks, 3 snacks, or 4, but I can't buy any more than that. And I can't buy partial snacks. This one is going to be pretty straightforward. Here is my variable term, so I'm going to get rid of my constant term first. The variable term comes down. That's going to go away, and I'm left with 21. I'm now going to divide by a -3, but you have to remember, if you divide by a negative number, 21 divided by a -3 is -7, the direction of your inequality has to swap directions. This is actually kind of important as well. When you're making your number line, if you have negatives, it's -9, -8, -7, -6, -5. It's X. It'll be an open circle because there's no line underneath. It's everything less than -7. So I'm going to move along. A restaurant needs to order forks. They would like to have at least 300. So the number of forks I would like to have has to be, now it's a restaurant, so it has to be greater than or equal to 300 because it's a restaurant. I need to have 300. Now, right now, currently, they have 180. They're going to buy forks, but they only come in packs of 12. So we're going to say P equals the number of packs. But so how many packs do I need to buy? That is what I don't know. So it's going to be my variable term. But I do know that there's 12 forks per pack. So this is it. Now I say 180 plus the number of forks I buy in a pack has to be greater than or equal to 300. I'm going to subtract how many forks I already have to figure out how many do I actually need. So the forks I'm going to be buying in the packs has to be greater than or equal to 120. Now, once again, this is different from the one that you did on your paper because this one works well. We get the number of packs has to be greater than or equal to 10. So that kind of makes sense because we need to have at least 300 forks. So I could buy 10 packs or more. And once again, technically, what I should do is I should be putting dots on all of these. But because there's really no limit to the number of forks I could buy, that's why I'm just going to do an arrow. All right, moving along. This question is kind of a dumb question. I apologize, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm building a triangular fence. The fence is equilateral, which means all the sides are the same. So I don't know how big the sides are, but we'll call them S, S, and S. I want the perimeter to be at most 45 feet. So here we go. If it's at most 45 feet, it can be less than or equal to that. Now here's the deal. This one threw a lot of people off because I only have 3 sides. So S equals the length of the sides. But all 3 sides are the same, so it's going to be 3S. But there's nothing else to this, so it's just 3S is less than or equal to 45. I'm going to divide by 3. And divide by 3, so S is less than or equal to 15. So the sides of the triangle have to be less than or equal to 15. And that makes sense. If all 3 sides were 10, 10, 10, and 10 is 30. 30 is less than 45. That's perfectly fine. I'm not going to draw the graphs from anymore because I think everyone pretty much gets the idea, or at least you should by now. It's going to move on. Here, that's my variable term. I'm going to add 4 to both sides. I bring this down, -2/3 x is less than or equal to 10. I'm now going to multiply by the reciprocal. Or I'll do this one twice actually. So that will turn into 1x is less than, hold on. I'm multiplying by a negative, which means the direction of my inequality sign has to change. 2 goes into 10 5 times. 5 times the -3 is a -15. So that's it. The reason I was saying or before is because when I get to here, -2/3 x is less than or equal to 10, I could divide by -2/3, and you will get the same results whether you multiply by the reciprocal or you divide by the fraction. But this is also still going to be x is greater than or equal to -15. Let's see, where am I with my problems now? All right, I've done 2 pages, 2 more to go. I'm sorry that this is taking so long, but here we go. Oh, geez, it looks like I have 3 more to go. Oh, this is a great question. This is probably one of my favorite questions on the entire page. So let's take a look. My son worked all summer long, all right? And you have to really pay attention to this one. He saved $750. He plans on taking out $30 a week. He would like to keep at least $300. So at the end of the summer, this is what we want. Or this is what he wants. He wants to have at least $300. So he would be happy if the amount of money he had was greater than or equal to 300. But at the beginning of the summer, he had $750, and then each week he took out 30. So W equals the number of weeks. Now, we don't know how many weeks he's doing this, but we do know that each week he's going to be losing $30. So it ends up being negative 30W plus 750 is greater than or equal to 300. Well, once again, here's my variable term, so I'm going to get rid of the 750 first, and that's a 7, not a 2. Now, check this out. You might be like, wait a second, this looks a little bit weird. Now I have negative 30W is greater than or equal to negative 450, and you have to make sure you're paying attention to your signs. We have a positive and a negative, but the negative is greater than the positive, so we're going to subtract and keep it negative. So now I'm going to divide by a negative 30. I'm going to divide by a negative 30, and so W is going to be 15, but the direction of my inequality sign has to change. So the number of weeks he can take money out has to be less than or equal to 15. I'll just put down 15, put down 10, put down 5, put down 20, 25. I thought that was a great question. This one was also a really good question and really, really tough because a lot of people made mistakes on this. So it says, I made $5 an hour plus tips as a busboy. Every weekend I worked for 15 hours. Show how much money I would need in tips to earn at least $100. So I have my wages plus the tips, and I want it to be greater than or equal to 100. So here we go. Let's be greater than or equal to 100. Now, my wages, I'm working 15 hours, but I'm getting $5 an hour. So 15 times 5 means every weekend I'm going to make $75 plus tips. Well, T equals the tips. And this is where it's a little bit tricky because you're going to see this $5 an hour. You're thinking, oh, that's where my variable term is. But it's not. We know that if I'm going to work 15 hours, and I'm making $5 an hour, I'm always going to make $75 plus the tips. Now, after I get rid of my 75, it's going to tell me that the amount of tips I have to earn has to be greater than or equal to 25. I thought that was a good question. All right, so here we have to distribute first. So I get negative 6x plus 10. It's greater than negative 18. I'm going to subtract 10 from both sides. I get negative 6x is greater than negative 28. I'm going to divide by a negative 6. I'm going to divide by a negative 6. So x, let's say a negative divided by a negative is positive. 6 goes into 24 4 times. 6 goes into 35 times. So this should be 4.5. And that's going to swap. Is that 4.5? Yeah, that seems about right. 28 divided by 6. Let me just... Oh, no. Oh, I am wrong. Whoa. Something seems a little bit off. It's actually 4 2/3. Yowzers. If you're going to graph this, you might want to do 4 1/3, 4 2/3, 5. This would be 3 2/3. 3 1/3, 3. Wow, I can't believe I almost made that mistake. That would have been awful. Oops, I just made another mistake. Yikers. All right. This one isn't too bad either. You just have to do a little bit of reading. Fries cost $1.25 each. Drinks are $2.50 each. Hamburgers are $5 each. If I had $30 and I wanted to buy 2 fries and a drink, so let's say I want to buy 2 fries and a drink and some hamburgers. How many hamburgers? I don't know. But that's what I'm trying to figure out. How many hamburgers could I buy? So let's see. What do I know? I know that I have $30. So that's the most I can spend. So the amount of money I can spend has to be greater. Must be getting late out. The amount of money I have that I can spend has to be less than or equal to 30. Now, the French fries are $1.25 each, but I'm buying two of them. So $1.25 times 2 is $2.50. The drinks are $2.50 each. I only got one drink. And the hamburgers, H equals the number of burgers, is what we don't know, but they're $5 each. So each hamburger costs $5. It's going to be 5 each. So now, that means that I'm going to be spending $5 on fries and the drink, plus the hamburgers, which are $5 each. It's going to be less than or equal to 30. So I'm going to subtract 5. 5 each is less than or equal to 25. I'm going to divide by 5. Divide by 5. The number of hamburgers I can buy is less than or equal to 5. Oh my goodness me. I'm going to do one last one. I'm going to skip the very, very last round because it's just a regular equation. My sister has 4 kids. She was telling me that she had to give each child $3 for your field trip. And some spending money. The maximum amount that she wanted to spend was $50. So she wants to give the kids less than or equal to $50 altogether. Now there's 4 kids. So they're each going to get $3 and some spending money. K equals the money per child. So if they're all going to go and they need to get $3 and they need to spend $3 for the field trip, that means that they're going to have to get $12 just for that. And then each kid will get some money. But it has to be less than or equal to 50. So let's see. After she gives all the kids the money for the field trip, it looks like she has $38 left. Now she can give, I'm going to divide this by 4 because she's going to give them all the same amount. Let's see. It looks like she can give them all $9.50 or less. She doesn't have to. So the amount of money is $9.50. I'll do this last one because it's going to be quick. Negative 2x equals negative 1. Divided by negative 2. Divided by negative 2. X equals 1/2. And that's it. All right. I know this was long. Thank you for watching and paying attention. I hope it helps.